Hi everybody, and welcome to yet another installment of Faust Goes to the Movies, and I'm here with Tom Carmody, and we're going to talk about Dangerous Jayne Mansfield today. One of my favorite novelty acts from Hollywood of the 1950s. I love Jayne. Who doesn't?
Here they come.
Here they are.
Oh, here they are.
Here they are, and that was from Steve Allen, and here they are, Jayne Mansfield. And that was pretty much what Jayne Mansfield was all about, was her tits. It was pretty much it. Unlike Marilyn Monroe, she didn't have a really good body of work to back her up at the end of her life. But Jayne was very entertaining and very amusing, despite any of that. She was born in 1934 in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and was very intelligent, very well educated, very high IQ. Went to several different schools, ended up settling in Texas with her mother, Vera. That's what I was going to say. Her real name is Vera Jane Palmer.
No, I didn't know that.
Yep. And her father was a lawyer politician in Pennsylvania and then in Texas. No, in Pennsylvania, excuse me. He died in a car accident. And so Jayne and her mother, Vera Jane and Vera, relocated to Texas in the 40s. And that's where she finished her education and where she married Paul Mansfield, her first husband, which is where she gets the name Jayne Mansfield. And had one child with him, Jane Marie Mansfield. And then was discovered, she did theater work in the schools that she attended, and was discovered in a production in Dallas of Death of a Salesman. And that was always a big deal with Jayne, you know, the fact that she was in Death of the Salesman. Well, there were 3 whores in Death of the Salesman too, so, you know, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think she was Miss Forsyth in Death of the Salesman. And it was in that production that she was spotted by an agent from Hollywood in 1953, and he was the one who brought her to Hollywood under her new name of Jayne, Jayne Mansfield, and that was how her career started.
What year was that?
That would have been like 50, 54, 55. She was very young at that time, 19 or 20. Jayne was one of that group of blonde or quasi-blonde wannabes that followed Marilyn Monroe, which would have included Mamie Van Doren, Joy Lansing, let's see, who else? Oh God, there were so many. Diana Dors was the British version of Marilyn Monroe. None of them had the talent that she had, but they all had blonde hair and big boobs. And Jayne had the biggest boobs of them all. And so anyway, she came to Hollywood. Her 2 big claims to fame, the motion pictures that she did, were The Girl Can't Help It. The Girl Can't Help It and Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter. One of the first roles she did was The Wayward Bus, which was a dramatic role, which I think was in 1955.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, but she played a straight role in that. Didn't get much credit for that. Got some critical acclaim, but it was when she did The Girl Can't Help It and then reprised her Broadway role on film of Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter. And that was pretty much the end of her serious career. It was kind of all downhill from there. From there it went to The Sheriff of Fractured Jaw.
Oh, I remember that.
Really bad, in which she lip-syncs Connie Francis songs. Now, I had forgotten all about that, but I have to see that. I mean, no wonder her career just went on the skids. I mean, they could have at least found an unknown vocalist, right?
Yeah.
No, it has to be Connie Francis. And then she married Mickey Hargitay in 1958 after she divorced Paul Mansfield, had 3 children with him. And that was when her career was basically on the skids, and she was doing a lot of, you know, just kind of novelty roles. And 20th Century Fox refused to renew her contract in 1962, so she just basically resorted to bad sort of exploitation roles. Promises, which was with what's his name? Tommy Noonan. No, Tommy Noonan. Tommy Noonan. He also he directed the movie and was in it, and that was the first major Hollywood star to take her top off. But she didn't do it in a very discreet way, like Marilyn Monroe did it in Something's Got to Give. She kind of just let it all hang out. And in the early 60s, that was pretty trashy.
That was porn.
Yeah, that was pretty much porn. And so she never really recovered from that and did like a Hercules movie with Mickey Hargitay, Mr. Universe, her second husband, with which she had 3 children, Zoltan, Miklos Jr., and Mariska Hargitay, TV star of today.
Oh.
And then she divorced him, married Matt Cimber, who I don't quite know what Matt Cimber was. Kind of a director, kind of a ne'er-do-well, kind of a whatever. She had 1 kid with him. And she had a big nightclub act, though. That's what kept her going at the end of her life. And it was still about her hair and about her boobs, pretty much. But she was able to make a pretty good living at that. Trouble with drugs and alcohol, you know, the usual thing. And was killed in 1967 in a tragic car accident.
And there's so many rumors and or urban legends about that. What is the urban legend?
The urban legend is that she was decapitated, which she was not.
No. So
what happened was it was kind of interesting for the future of the Department of Transportation in the United States, because the car that she was riding in with her driver and her agent / lover Sam Brody in the front seat, and then her 3 children, her three small children in the back seat. They were all asleep though, which is why they survived, because the car went under a semi around Slidell, Mississippi, I think is where they were. They were on their way to, or Slidell in Louisiana. I think Slidell is actually in Louisiana. They were on their way to New Orleans, and the car went under the semi. And that was before the days of the Mansfield bar, which is the piece of steel that comes down. Is
named after.
Thanks to Jayne, we don't slide under semis quite so easily anymore. But she was not decapitated. The wad of blonde hair that you see was probably one of her wigs. She always wore wigs, so that was probably it. But that was in 1967. She was young. She was 34. She was only 34. She was 8 years younger than Marilyn Monroe, so that gives you an idea, you know, sort of a perspective of that. The unfortunate thing about Jayne was that, as I said, she just did not have the body of work that Marilyn Monroe had. She was always a whore, or a floozy, or a quasi-whore, or something like that. But Jayne Mansfield, great star. Jayne.